Now, after days of tension, the US and Iran are set to hold talks in Doha on Tuesday. The US President Donald Trump said that Iran has requested for the meeting, in this, despite Iran denying that direct negotiations were planned with the United States on the deal aimed at ending the West Asia war. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei has said that a delegation of the country's own expert would travel to Doha this week, but staunchly has denied any sit-down with the Americans.
Meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that, in all fairness.
The Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian signaled that Tehran remains open to implementing its recently signed Memorandum of Understanding with Washington. In a post on X, he, however, stressed that the US must honor its commitments if it expects Iran to do the same. Now, Iran's exercise of control over the highly strategic Strait of Hormuz has sparked repeated flare-ups, the latest of which came early on Sunday when the US Central Command said that it had attacked 10 Iranian military targets or what it called continued Iranian aggression against commercial shipping. Now, Iran said that it retaliated with strikes against the US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. But while the strikes may have briefly fallen silent, the blockade remains a key sticking point in the negotiations. The strait comprises of Omani and Iranian territorial waters, but under international law, the two cannot generally block passage or charge tolls. Now, Iran's foreign ministry has said that it held the first meeting with Oman on managing the strait on Monday. How the Memorandum of Understanding is to be implemented still remains unclear, with Iran especially sensitive about the issue of demining. In a joint statement following a meeting between the French President Emmanuel Macron and the Omani Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, Paris and Muscat have said that they will conduct joint demining operations. In response, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Qasem Gharibabadi has insisted that under the agreement, only Iran is to conduct demining efforts. The tension continues to brew in the South China Sea. China has carried out aerial patrolling over the disputed Scarborough Shoal, and Beijing has called Scarborough an inherent part of China. It is said that such patrols serve as an effective countermeasure to cope with all sorts of rights violations and proactive acts. The Chinese military has said that these patrols are meant to resolutely safeguard China's territorial sovereignty and to uphold peace and stability in the South China Sea. The Chinese patrols have come in response to US-Philippine military drills near the Scarborough Atoll. On Monday, the Philippines claimed that a Chinese naval vessel, a Type 054B guided missile frigate, and 3 Chinese Coast Guard ships followed the bilateral maritime drills by the United States Coast Guard and Philippine Navy and Coast Guard 93 kilometers from the Scarborough Shoal. The Beijing did not directly acknowledge the encounter, but then played it down, saying that it was an organized routine air and naval patrols in the South China Sea. Taiwan, on the other hand, has issued a strong warning to its military cadets. President Lai Ching-te has asked them not to succumb to China's spying activities and to defend freedom and democracy. The Taiwanese president was speaking at a Cold War-era college originally set up to teach against the perils of communism. The college, now part of the National Defense University, was founded in 1951, just 2 years after the defeated Republic of China government fled to Taiwan after losing a civil war to Mao Zedong's communists. Now, Taiwan and China, which views the democratically governed island as its own territory, have long spied on each other. Taiwan, in particular, has reported an increased number of Chinese espionage cases, especially in the armed forces. China has never renounced the use of force to bring Taiwan under its control, and its military operates daily around the island. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.